Welcome, I'm Nid, your karma guide, and each month I share some thoughts and tips on moving through life towards a bit more joy, clearing our karma, and manifesting goodness with law of attraction. This month we are exploring the word and energy around empathy and how it is that it can help us clear karma and manifest in alignment with our soul's deepest desires for growth. So we will be touching a little bit on what is empathy, how we might want to use it, and tuning into when it's aligned and how it's aligned to our soul's growth, and how that therefore clears karma and manifests what you want. So the first thing is, what is empathy? So Brené Brown, beautiful, wonderful social psychologist, has really done some fabulous research on what our collective agreement is around empathy. It is a tool, an aspect of compassion. So it's something that we want to use practically to help us to relate to another person and share understanding, that we can really connect to the feelings that maybe they are moving through, even if it is that we do not have the same life experiences to share and console one another. So that means that when someone is sharing something difficult and upsetting, sharing and really revealing some vulnerability, it's really important to move into sharing empathy. So showing that you connect and can understand the feelings that maybe might be moving through this person, rather than moving into a problem-solving, solution or avoidant kind of approach, which is what we do when we are not being empathetic. So that's the first thing, is cultivating this aspect of connecting to someone else, showing an understanding of the feelings that they are experiencing. And right now I'm connecting to, maybe you could hear the bikes in the background here in Greece, and so there's some empathy for you around distracting sounds as you try and focus on my words. That could be irritating. There's also the aspect of empathy, which is that we use it when we are caring for other people. And so in recent years, there has been a cry of feeling really exhausted with sharing compassion. And really, it's empathy fatigue that we are actually struggling with. We haven't built the resilience of the muscle of empathy. What we have been doing is maybe overly emoting our own experience, our own personal story into the experience that someone else is sharing with us. And when we overly contribute our own experience, when we really deeply kind of bring up our own scars and wounds in order to empathize with someone else, actually what we do is start turning too much energy on ourselves. And this is exhausting, because then you're reliving and having to reprocess and heal things that maybe have been in your past. And so that's a sign that you need to do maybe a little bit more of your own healing around what it is that has been coming up, that you've been tuning in a little bit too deeply to. And that is something you should do in your own time, not when you are actually supporting someone else and sharing your empathy. So a first aspect of knowing when we are out of alignment with our soul, our karma, and we're generating therefore negative karma for ourselves, is that we are overly emoting and overly sharing empathy with somebody, rather than containing it to, I know, I understand, and I feel that pain, not digging into your own pain and reliving it again. So this is the first aspect of knowing a misalignment and knowing when you've gone too far. And if that happens to you, then you know there's more process for you, more clearing, more healing of whatever that trauma is, whatever that piece of past karma is that needs to be resolved within you. And so that's a place of work. And then again, in relationship, you want to keep tapping into that empathy and seeing if you've got a better holding and understanding of your own empathy. It also can arise that we overthink and over worry about somebody else once we've shared a bit of empathy. So maybe we're being kind of overly empathetic and carrying their weight, their burden with us. So this is that old indigenous concept of carrying stones in our bags. We're carrying someone else's stones. They are not your stories. This is not your feelings that you need to carry, but you're worrying and overthinking about that person like you've got to fix them, hold space for them, solve their issues. whatever it is that's running through your mind. Now, when you're doing that, again, you are now starting to generate negative karma for yourself. This is not your weight to carry. You're also potentially starting to disempower this person because you are carrying some of their negative energy. It's going to weigh and make you more tired and more exhausted. And it's going to also disempower them from processing and dealing with their own emotional work. And that is for them to hold. So it's really important that when we finish with somebody holding empathy for them, that we really close the door and really, here's a door, we shut it, we say good night to that bit of empathy, to that situation, and we leave that person with what it is that they are here to learn and to heal. This is their lesson, these are their emotions to clear, and we must firmly leave that door. So if you're over worrying and overthinking, you need to again do some work around your own boundaries, but boundaries in terms of your thoughts and your emotions, worrying and thinking about others. And maybe it's a sign that you need to take a step to share with them how they may empower themselves to heal and move through what it is that they are struggling with. So again, these are ways that we start to clear our karma, and move through into a more aligned karma whilst being empathetic, building connection and building relationships, showing understanding. Another aspect that can also bring up negative karma is when somebody has interpreted an emotion in a certain way in their body. So sometimes as we grow up, we have emotional experiences, say anger, that we are taught are not to be expressed. And so what we do is we learn to suppress that emotion. And as we suppress that emotion, we internalize and express it in a different way. Perhaps it becomes an anxiety issue because we're not allowed to express our anger, so then we start to feel kind of anxious about things that make us angry, and then it becomes an anxiety issue. And it may be that then when someone is expressing a problem, they're expressing things in a way that isn't really clear about what the exact emotion is. And so therefore, when we try and connect with empathy, they say, no, that's not what I'm feeling, that's not what it is. And so we need to learn to discern and understand these different emotional interpretations and support one another in really clarifying what the emotion is that needs to be moved through. Because we're not going to clear that karma until we really understand the emotion and can allow it to be expressed fully in its purest form. So this is a really important aspect of empathy as well, is to really make sure that when we're in that moment, we're being really clear in understanding what the emotion is. And if the person doesn't know because they've got this other way of interpreting emotions, then we want to take the time to really support them in their path of understanding what the emotion is and how they may want to express it so that it can become free and clear that karma. And that for you too, that as you're interpreting and understanding, maybe you have this confusion about emotions, about what emotion is moving through, and maybe there is something for you in terms of clearing and understanding your emotional interpretations and healthy expressions to balance and clear your karma. What's really beautiful with all of this is we're doing it with other people, we're doing it in community, which means that we have a greater understanding, social dynamic in which we can heal, understand people, accept people for they are, being more non-judgmental and showing greater capacity of deeper compassion and maybe even a little bit of forgiveness if we need to in there, but really deepening our connections so that we hold one another in their purest and most innocent form. And that is the way in which we clear karma and move forward making decisions that are aligned to our highest and purest soul's intention. And how this comes to manifesting, well, it's really important that when we are desiring, setting intentions and making those actions that align with our intentions, that we are choosing things with the right energy and emotional state behind it. If as we make an intention and we create those visualizations, we come into that state of allowing, we have a conflicting emotion that we haven't yet resolved, it will manifest with that slightly weird off kind of realization, and it may not feel like the experience we expected or had dreamt of. And that just shows we've got some more emotional clearing in our life, some deeper empathy for ourselves to clear. And so we want to make sure these relationships give us an opportunity to reflect back our own emotional growth, our own emotional boundaries with ourselves, so that we can process, clear and heal, so that we can set intentions, manifest and create from a pure place aligned with our karma for the most positive realization, and that will always have a positive impact on others around us towards the highest good. If you'd like to receive more support tools around empathy, connect in with the free community via Kajabi, the link is below. And each month we have a free community call where you can ask for support, get questions answered. And there's also further tools in the Embody Life Sanctuary area with meditation practices and sometimes some movement practices that really go and support with our theme for the month. So have a look, give that Sanctuary a go. There's a 14-day free trial, so what's there to lose? And I can't wait to hear your comments and how you find clearing your karma with empathy. Have a great month.